Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 114 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. Today's episode is about money and some information that came through tonight in my evening. I have an evening routine or night routine. I say a rosary. I'm not Catholic. See thewayoftherose.org for more information on why you would be saying a rosary if you're not Catholic. And I talk to my ancestors. I pour them a little shot of expensive whiskey, have a conversation with whoever's here, and see if there's any channeling from being the gang. And tonight, some pieces came together. I've spoken about if you can't receive money, it may be because you have past experiences of being penetrated without consent. Now, that can mean actual rape or sexual assault, sexual abuse, incest, things of that sort. But it can also be a dominating caretaker or teacher who continually overrode your wishes and your will to the point where you just sort of stop trying to assert your will, stop trying to set boundaries because they would just override you. So, I mean, negative penetration, for at least for the purposes of this episode, we're going to think about on a continuum from, energetic, emotional, all the way to rape and sexual assault. Anytime our energy system is in receiving mode, sensation, energetic things are coming in, right? We've talked about this before with the nervous system training. I think the episode is getting used to money before it comes so that your nervous system can handle it. So this is a bit of a extension of that, or maybe just revisiting it from a slightly different vantage point, because I myself have had many energy readers and people try to work with me on money, and it has baffled and stymied everyone, me included, because it's not a mindset. I've done that. It's not anything typical. What it is, and I know this is true for others, and you'll know this is true for you if you just, it doesn't make sense. Like, you produce things that are equivalent or better to what's around you. You're in the same business arena or whatever, and you just really have a hard time receiving money. You just are invisible, or people pick up your stuff but they don't buy it. And when you do meditations on receiving, either you fall asleep or there's just a sense of a block, like an actual block there, a pushing back against money coming in. Money is a powerful energy in our world. It's very intense. It comes with a lot of power. It comes with a lot of baggage, mental baggage. For us, it's extremely powerful. When you've had those negative penetration experiences, especially if you've had them more than once, eventually a block goes up, a door closes, and it can be very hard to open that door. Even just recently in I forget which class it was in. Might have been the Unfuckable with Warriors group. One of the participants could not receive the money, just could not take it. It was right there. Couldn't take it. Felt wrong to take it. One meditation I had when I was first really diving into doing energy work, exchanges with other people, there was a huge no in my system. The person reading me felt it, and I felt it. And then I knew, like, there's this wall around this topic, around this energy signature that I've been chipping away at for a long time. Man, with my little spoon, I'm chipping away at this giant rock wall. I'm stubborn, right? I won't give up. It's not even about the money at this point. It's the principle. So when there's that block there, you can do all the mindset work you want. And you can do all the money spells you want. You can buy all the lottery tickets you want. You can do everything that the lady at the Botanica tells you to do, which I've done. I love Botanicas. You can do all those things. You can stuff your pockets with pyrite till you can't even walk because your pants are so heavy. And it won't make a difference. It won't change anything because it's not about your belief. It's about this closed door. This absolute no. I'm not receiving that powerful energy because that powerful energy feels like the powerful energy that invaded me when I was a vulnerable young'un. Powerful energy, powerful energy. It doesn't matter if it wears the face of $100 bill or a parent or a teacher, later in life, a boss, because we replicate it, right? A spouse. We just keep on doing the familiar, right? We're trying to resolve. We're caught up in that repetition compulsion, seeking resolution. So the nervous system training stuff is super popular right now. I love it. I want it to be more popular. I want it to be common knowledge that you have to do different things with your nervous system when you're in your journey to enlightenment, your journey to be able to grow your capacity to hold money and to hold power, right? This isn't anything new. Barbara, oh my gosh, her last name was Stanny, I think. Her last name now is Huson, Huson. Lots of work on money equal power and how come women struggle with that because we actually are struggling with power. Well, in this sense, we are still struggling with power, and it's impacting our ability to exchange energy with the world. Because to exchange energy with the world, you've got to receive it back. If you can't receive a compliment, if you make it difficult for people to give things to you, and what I mean by that, somebody tries to give you something and you're like, oh, are you sure? Oh, I couldn't possibly, oh, la, la. Until the other person is like, well, fuck, well, I don't even want to do it now. When you make it hard for people to tell you you look beautiful, when you make it hard for people to tell you you did a good job, or they're grateful for your presence, when that is all difficult, this is all intertwined together. Money can feel like perpetrator energy. It can feel like a rape. It's powerful. It can overwhelm you. If you have an underdeveloped nervous system because you shut down at a young age and didn't, you're sort of frozen in time somewhere between 3 and 6 years old, and you're now an adult trying to receive this powerful energy with the nervous system of a 3-year-old, does it make sense to you that pushing and trying to do this mindset work and get down on yourself and just stress and freak out and beat yourself up, that might feel like you're energetically raping yourself? I know that might be a little too strong, but that's the words that came through tonight. It was the 3 questions came through, and these are strong words, and I'll just apologize in advance if the cheese has slipped off my rocker and I'm way out of line here. But this is what came through, and I don't think it's just for me, because generally I don't receive information that's just for me. It's usually somebody else is going through it. That's the whole point of this podcast. It said, or what I heard was, heal this. First question, where is perpetrator energy? Where are you raping? Where are you being raped? And I think the words are that strong to get my and maybe your attention. We perpetrate on ourselves when we don't have boundaries, when we let people take advantage of us, when we don't hold our space, when we react instead of taking the time to process strong emotions and then make a conscious choice of what we're going to do from a heart space rather than a solar plexus or root-centered space, will or survival stuff kind of space. When we say yes, when we really would rather say no, you use this strong word, we are raping ourselves. We are perpetrating on ourselves. We're allowing someone else to insert their energy into our experiences against our will because we're not saying no. And that's not to say that now you need to feel bad because you didn't say no, because we all know that no is complicated. It's hard to learn to say no when you grew up having your no violated or not even being able to say no. Like you learned real quick, you don't get to say no. You don't get to refuse anything. You don't get to talk back. You don't get to state your opinion. You don't get to have an opinion, right? So there's no shame in any of this. We're all just working through figuring out all these pieces. And I have the gate 24 in my human design. And that goddamn gate is like a dog with a bone, like a pit bull with a nylabone or a rawhide. It's not going to let go of something that it's fixated on until it chews it absolutely to death. And so the gate 24 goes over a problem and then over it and then over it and then over it to find understanding and then share the understanding. So me gnawing on a problem hopefully benefits you. So where are we raping ourselves, denying ourselves? There's lots of different ways we could phrase that. We can soften that if that's a little too strong at the moment. For me, I'm like, oh, you got my attention. I hear that. That's a big word. But we can soften that if we need to in order to take in what we can take in. Where are we allowing people to violate us? And where are we violating others? It's never about the other person. When you're doing deep spiritual reflection, whoever just pissed you off, you don't even really need to give them your attention. You will benefit if you immediately flip that back and go, what thorn did she just touch? What wound in my energy did that person just brush up against? And then go do your work. It's never about the other person at this stage of the game, right? So, when you don't hold boundaries, because you can't, because you don't know how. Some people, when I was a therapist and also working with adolescents, I had to actually teach them the words you use, and we had to role play saying no in order to educate the nervous system, the body's nervous system, that you can say no and set a limit, and the other person gets to be upset. We don't get to control that. If we say no and they get upset, well, their upset is not your business. They get to have whatever reaction they want to have because they are also sovereign in their energy in this human experience. You have to do what's right for you. The other person gets to react however they want to react, and that's not your business. You don't need to get in there and try to make it better. You don't need to get in there and tell them that they need to feel or react any kind of way. That's not yours. That's theirs. And that's an empath problem. We want other people to knock it off because we're feeling the backlash of that. But when our nervous system is grown up and strengthened and toned and educated, it's really just a process of behavioral modification. When you've never said no in your life, role-playing saying no with a therapist as the character that you need to say no to. I've had people break out in tears, break out in a sweat, and start shaking because they were so scared to tell this person no because they knew there was going to be backlash and they didn't know how to handle that, and their body didn't know how to receive that energetic signature of blowback coming at them, anger, disappointment, guilt, whatever. So we practiced it. Just no different than if you were practicing how to crochet or a golf swing. Does anyone who listened to me play golf? I've never played golf in my life. It looks kind of like it might be fun, only in the sense that you'd have something to do while you were hanging out with your friends. I get that part. I don't get why it's so expensive. So we have to educate. We have to get familiar with all the different energy signatures. We will not open up to receiving money until we trust our ability to hold boundaries, to set boundaries and hold boundaries, to say no to some things and yes to other things, and to stop trying to change the other person's reaction. Stop blaming other people for the triggering. Stop attacking other people because they said something you don't like. Stop shoving your opinion without asking, without consent. That's a little rapey. You go launch at somebody, oh, you're doing it wrong, or this or that or the other thing. You've just now perpetrated on them. You didn't ask them first. You didn't ask. You didn't take the time to process your reaction to them brushing up against your wound. And you didn't ask if they wanted feedback. It's even that little stuff, right? Although sometimes that's not little. Sometimes it's a big deal with a lot of ramifications and gathering of karma. But even like those kinds of things are what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body, right? Michael Singer calls it the thorn. People brush up against, if you have a thorn on your skin and somebody bumps up against you, there's gonna be some reactions there, right? Maybe reactions and counter reactions, right? This shit hurts. You ever had a piece of glass in your finger and you couldn't see it, so you had to like brush over your fingertip, and then you're like, yow, there that bitch is. Fucking piece of glass. Okay, we do that with each other. We have pieces of glass stuck. We have thorns. People brush up against them, and our nervous system doesn't know how to handle it because it's still 3 years old, or whenever it got frozen, whenever it had to shut down in order to maintain the integrity of the system and continue growing up. When we can't trust ourselves, we're never going to open up, because opening up is a risk. People who come into my courses go into upheaval, right? We're setting the container in order to deliberately be triggered, to be open to being triggered, so that we get to practice taking a step back, doing all the nervous system things which are so simple, right? Pull on your ears. Do some box breathing. Take a big deep breath in to a count of 4. Exhale to a count of 8. Hold and repeat. So simple. So simple for us to shift our nervous system back into a state of calm, in control, conscious heart space. It's very simple. The hard part is remembering when somebody done poked your wound and you're like, fuck, that hurts. Until you've practiced a lot of times, you won't remember to go, oh, that's not about that external situation. It can be, like it is and it isn't. Your reaction's yours. Now, there still may be work to do as far as like, okay, how we're going to move forward on this. But that's what people can learn if you let yourself. But you have to know that when you start opening, that you have a bag of tools that you can rely on to get you through no matter what intense emotional energy comes at you, right? It's intense. Oh my Lord. In the beginning, when you have something happens and then you have a shame attack and then the other person reacts and then they have a shame attack and it's like shame NATO all over the place and it's just shit flying everywhere. It is extremely hard to remember to go, oh, I need to do some box breathing. Oh, I should be massaging my ears right now. I need to do a Byron Katie worksheet or some shit, right? So we need to give ourselves some grace. That it's messy and we're gonna screw it up. You know why? Because we're fucking 3 years old. If we're lucky, we're 5. How masterful is any 5-year-old at navigating complex personal relationships? You know what 5-year-olds do? They bite your ass. That's what they do. They throw their fucking food in your face. They don't go take care of their upset and then come back and have a conversation, right? They just bite you. We want to bite people, right? When we get triggered, we want to bite their ass. Shit. Oh, God, I cracked myself up. So, is it any wonder that it's so hard to receive money when feeling powerful energy coming into your space is alarming, terrifying, unacceptable? You shut that shit down when you were like 5 years old and now you're trying to figure it out, but your nervous system's only 5 years old. You have to grow up your nervous system. And you do that by deliberately putting yourself in environments and situations where somebody's going to poke your damn wound. How are you going to practice if you never get hurt? If you cocoon yourself behind a veil of self-righteousness or judgment or you don't get to practice because you're behind that wall, that big rock wall, that refusal to receive because the wound, you don't have the capacity to feel the level of pain that's there. If it's a big wound, you can maybe only feel a little teeny bit at a time before you have to go eat some ice cream or some however you shut your shit down. Right? You can only do a little at a time. And that's okay. We wouldn't go to the gym and expect to leg press 300 pounds if we'd never done a leg press in our life. Do you know how long it would take you to work up to comfortably leg press a couple of 100 pounds? Probably a year of dedicated effort. That's a lot of weight to press. I can't remember the max. I was always great at leg press because I have the legs of a German peasant that is just muscle and bone. They're ginormous. I can do me some leg pressing. But you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't expect that. We wouldn't expect a 5-year-old to be able to leg press 50 pounds. And here you are trying to receive a bunch of money that your nervous system is like, oh, hell no. We don't do powerful energy. We've been there, done that. It's not fun for us, so we don't do it. And here we go, raping ourselves, shoving, pushing, ignoring our nervous system saying, no, 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 I do not want that money. No, I do not want that relationship. I can't handle it. Your body knows what you can handle, what you can't. So you go do a bunch of spells and you do buy a bunch of crystals and none of that. I'm not criticizing any of that. Don't hear me criticizing that. I'm not. But I'm saying there's more to the story. There's more to the story. If you have bought every fucking money spell on the planet and you've done everything that you can do, mindset work, coaching, hypnosis, EMDR, therapy, and you're still struggling with money, your nervous system can't handle it. Stop pushing. Stop pushing. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. It can't handle it. That thing that you keep trying to get, going to readers for, reading a gazillion books about, all that one damn thing or maybe two things that you just can't make work, fucking drop it. Drop it. Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. You know I had to sing a little of that. Drop it like it's hot. Sorry, Snoop Dogg. I just ruined your song. But I'm serious. Drop it. Seriously. Stop. And start asking different questions. All right, so what do we do? Right? We've defined the problem. We've talked about all the things we've done to try to make something happen that just ain't budging. We get in meditations and the money's right there and you can't pick it up. Somebody tries to give you something and you cannot receive it. Or it's just so complicated and a struggle. Someone tries to tell you how much you mean to them and you just can't hardly even bear it. All the things that we do. Somebody triggers your wound and you can't get out of your shame attack long enough to deal with it differently because it's so new and your nervous system it's a baby. It's just a little toddler. We can't expect that a little toddler nervous system is going to masterfully do this stuff. We got to give ourselves some grace. We've got to stop fucking pushing. So what do we do now? Daily practice. Surprise! Daily practice. You got to do something every day for your nervous system. You got to sit in silence a little bit every day so that you get to know yourself. You can do some of it by walking. You can do some of it by yoga. But there is a separate thing that happens when you sit your ass down for 5 minutes in silence. And don't tell me you can't do 5 minutes. I'm not taking any excuse. You've sat at a traffic light that long. You've sat at a doctor's office that long. You can do 5 minutes. 5 minutes, just sit. Just sit there. Well, what do I do? Sit there. Well, what do I think about? Nothing, just observe. Well, am I supposed to do breath work? You don't have to. You probably shouldn't. Just sit there. Listen like you're listening for a sound in the woods. Listen with your energy. Listen to hear the things that you say to yourself. To hear yourself judging. To hear your mind complaining. I don't want to sit here. It's boring. I want to watch TikTok. Just listen. Listen like you would to a little toddler having a fit. Or a middle schooler fucking complaining. 5 minutes. 15 maximum. Don't even try to sit there for an hour. 15 minutes tops. Just listen. Just sit. It's not hard. What's hard is breaking the habit of letting your chain be yanked around by your border collie brain that's running around barking because you're making it be still. But it doesn't have to be still. It can run around and bark and chase its tail. That's fine. That's what it's going to do anyway. So you might as well just sit there and enjoy the entertainment. And then you got to add in these little nervous system trainings that you can do all day long. Your boss says something that makes your stomach tense up, you can box breathe. They're not going to know what you're doing. You can cross your arms under the table, or out of camera view now with Zoom, and cross your arms over your body. Alternate tap your knees or your thighs. I can't reach my knees. If my arms are crossed, it's not very comfortable. But you can take a big deep breath and exhale double the amount of time that you breathe in. So if you breathe in 6, breathe out 12. Breathe in 4, breathe out 8. Double the time that you Exhale. Something upsets you, you sit your ass down and start doing some of this stuff. Or dance. Or scream. Or emote. Oh my God, I just put the video of the men's from the Olympics, Tokyo Olympics, where the Italian and the guy from Qatar got to have double medal. Rather than do a jump off, they decided that they would each have their co-gold medal. They each get a gold medal. And the reaction, especially from the Italian guy, he was rolling all over, screaming, hopping, exuding embodied emotion. Like the best example of just a body that's like blasting out emotion. Blast the emotion out. Not at someone, just in your body. Recognize how hard that is. Right? Feel the burn of shame. Shame's the worst. Shame's the hardest. If you can make yourself stay present with shame, pretty much everything else is not so bad. Shame's the hardest one. It hurts the most. It burns. It's squirmy. You just want to crawl out of your skin. You'd almost rather die than stay present with shame. It's hard. You just sit there and feel that squirmy, feel like your skin's turning inside out, and you just sit there and you just breathe. Not to push it away, but to say yes to it. Okay, this is the truth. This is how I'm feeling. Ashamed. Like I'd rather just crawl in a hole and die right now. I can do this. Here's where you can talk to yourself. I can do this. I can feel this. I can not abandon myself. I can stay present here. I can call on my team invisible to surround me with love while I stay present with this hot, tar, boiling, awful sensation. You can label it heat, squirminess, inside out. Just labeling it. Doing everything in your power to not abandon yourself, to stay there. And you might only be able to do 30 seconds in the beginning. You can tap, that helps. Lots of things support, but you're looking for support not to get rid of it. You're staying present with it, not trying to push it away. Not kick it to the curb, not call on the angels to take it away from you, but to call on the angels to help you stay with it, because it will dissipate. I promise. There is another side to it. And if all you can do is 30 seconds, hallelujah, Jesus will take it. That's enough. 30 seconds. You just taught a 3-year-old nervous system that he, she, they can handle it. You can handle it for 30 seconds. Something to be proud of. Holy shit, I stayed with that awfulness for 30 seconds. Yay me. And what happens is you start to catch those flickers of tension in your body. The second that somebody says something you don't like, catches your attention, it hooks you. Go Google Shenpa, SHENPA, Pema Chodron, PEMA, capital CHODRON. Go Google Shenpa. About the hook. You'll feel that hook grab you with a little flicker of a frown across your face. The signs of you're now hooked or getting hooked on something or reacting, being triggered, whatever you want to call it, are so subtle. When we're not practiced, we don't catch them till we're blowing up and burning our world down, right? Because it just got too big. We were not conscious of the flickering of tension across our face, or usually people will feel it in their stomach, right in the solar plexus. Your stomach is like, eh! And then you stop breathing. And then your shoulders go up. You turtle, or your chest goes out because you're moving into aggression. you'll catch the tiny little, with practice and time, you'll start to catch those little signals that tell you, here we go. Let's stop right here and pay attention. Instead of running away or going after that person or making decisions from a hot spot, let's turn around. Why is my stomach cramped? How come I just stopped breathing? Why did my throat just close up? How come I just disconnected my root chakra? What just scared me? What just hurt? And you can catch it and question. The more you do that, you develop your skill set. You develop trust. When you trust yourself that you will use the skills you have, then you can begin to open up. And that is another stage then of painful education. Everything new we do hurts somehow or another. If it's something physical, your body goes through some pain with your muscles or whatever it is you're doing. If it's something emotional, let's say even like you're learning to do improv comedy, you're going to fuck it up and you're going to have reactions to that. And it's going to challenge you emotionally. People go through real hard times learning to do video. It's hard. But you just keep doing it and you keep doing it and you get your embarrassing moments and you have your shame attacks and you don't like your hair that day or whatever, all the crap that comes up. And then before you know it, you could turn on a video. I could turn on a video right now and I would not have those reactions because I went through them, educated my nervous system that I actually wasn't going to die. I thought I was, but I actually wasn't going to. So I can trust myself. You can trust yourself that if you open up to receive the powerful energy of money or the powerful energy of high, strong love, you trust yourself to take care of yourself when that energy impacts you so it feels not rapey. It doesn't feel like you're being invaded. It feels like, oh, a disturbance maybe. Something that's uncomfortable. Doesn't feel right. Because you're not used to it, right? It can feel really off and wrong and agitating, like you're running around, just can't, when you get all dysregulated and your brain's all over the damn place and you can't focus for shit and you're just sort of bouncing off the, excuse me, I got the hiccups, bouncing off the walls. That kind of place. You just do the same thing. You just go, oh, I'm taking in powerful energy and my body does not know what to do with this. So now I'm spinning in circles looking like the damn Tasmanian devil running around my living room. Can't get anything done. Right? Go take a bath. Have a little lie down. Take a walk. Do some breathing. Acknowledge what's happening. I'm dysregulated because the thing just happened and I got the nervous system of a 4-year-old. All right, we're growing up. Growing up is uncomfortable. Staying conscious in a world that would prefer you to be sedated and idiotic is hard. It's hard. And it is also simple but not easy to fix. You can train yourself to receive powerful energies because you can say, now that you're an adult, that is a powerful energy. That is not the energy of that 3rd grade teacher. This is the energy of money. This is the energy of love. This is the energy of whatever. When I was 8, her powerful energy created this cascade of events. All right, you can deal with that. And remind yourself that that same sense of powerful energy doesn't mean what your body thinks it means. This is where mindset work actually works. Changing your beliefs works. Doing some, thought processes, there's plenty of stuff out there to do. That's when it works, because you do need to say to yourself, the sensation of powerful energy doesn't mean what I think it means, because the meaning that I attached to this sensation of powerful energy was formed when I was too little to take it in, too little to understand, too little to, play out the scene to resolution. But now I can, because now I can stay with it. Now I can recognize, like, this is just powerful energy. I can handle powerful energy now because I sit in silence and I've gotten to know myself. Or you can say, I'm learning to get to know myself. I can handle powerful energy now, maybe just a little teeny bit. Maybe you can just let your income go up $100, $500, $1,000 might be too much. Maybe when you get the increase, you get all agitated and dysregulated again, and you're, Tasmanian deviling around the living room again. That's fine. That will keep happening. That's a good thing. There's some podcasts earlier on, like, it's a good thing when you're all fucked up. It's a good thing. It's a good thing when you're consciously doing the work. It's a good thing that you feel bad, because you have the opportunity to practice. You can't think it through. You can't imagine scenarios and practice your skills and actually have that do any good. That's why a lot of guided meditations, you can do those all day long too. It doesn't work if your body's not engaged. Now, if you're doing like a really intense and your body's engaged and you're physically reacting as if you really would, that's different. But if the body's not a part of it, you can have the mental scenarios forever and you won't experience any change, because then it's going to happen in real life and your body won't have this, I know I'm probably belaboring the point now, but this is important, because when people have a stubborn issue like money or relationships or something, and you've gone to all the things and then you don't, it gets to a point where it's like, I don't even want to talk to anybody about this, because they don't know me. They don't know the laundry list of things I've done. So they're going to think, well, let's do some mindset work. Or they're going to be like, well, let's move some energy. And I'm like, well, it's not fucking about that. It's not. So you can start to feel like I have felt like I must be broken. This is where some cursey stuff comes in. We start to imagine that we're cursed. We're not cursed. Curses only work if you believe that. You're not cursed. You're inexperienced. You're not broken or, unfixable. You've just been trying to fix the wrong problem. You've been working on your mindset when your nervous system is a toddler. Okay? That doesn't work. You're not stupid. You're not broken. You're not defective in any way. When you're trying to hammer a nail in the wall with a baguette, it ain't gonna work. It doesn't mean you're an idiot for using a baguette because that's all you've got. It just means you don't know what a hammer is and where to go get one. You can't find your way to the hardware store because you don't even know what a hardware store looks like. Lack of education, lack of knowledge is not being broken. You don't know. You can't beat yourself up for that. But very few people want to stay with the pain and the messy, yucky, bloody, dirty work. It's hard. It takes enormous courage to deliberately put yourself in an environment where guaranteed somebody's going to hurt your feelers, and you're going to have to deal with it, or you're going to have to choose to not deal with it. That takes guts. I don't blame anybody for starting down that road and then saying, yeah, not yet. No thanks. That's all right. You'll come back to it later or you won't. It doesn't matter. So if you're struggling with these things, there's simple fixes. Daily practice sitting in silence. Go Google all the little tips and tricks for you. Don't have to go read a big bunch of books. You can if you want to, if you like that. I do. But you can go to YouTube, Google nervous system. You can Google vagus nerve. You can find a bazillion little 30-second training things that you can do. Humming tones your vagus nerve. How hard is that? It doesn't even cost you anything. Humming, breathing, all free. Dancing, singing, petting your hands. The Haven techniques, Heven. Alternate tapping on your shoulders, EFT. It doesn't even matter if you do the EFT in the format or the follow the formula or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just engaging your body. And then know that it's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. You don't get to grow and not experience the pain of the growth. Every time you try to circle around it, hop over it, blame the other person, drop the whatever, every time you do that, that's fine. You'll come back to it. But just know that when you come back around to it, you're still going to have to hurt. You're still going to be uncomfortable. You don't get the reward without walking through the fire. Sorry. It just doesn't work that way. Your nervous system cannot grow in a painless way. You can't hypnotize yourself through it. You can't do a million spells. You can't do anything that's going to make that natural consequence of growth go away. It's going to hurt. And then you're going to want to run. And you might run. And that's all right. And then you'll come back and go, shit, this is going to hurt. Damn it. This is going to hurt. But I want that thing on the other side. I want that experience on the other side. So I guess, fuck it. I'll just do it. And it's going to hurt. But you know what? It hurts a whole lot more than not doing it. Because you're going through a life fragmented, cut off, struggling, beating yourself up. It's uncomfortable either way. You might as well have the conscious pain growth experience that actually moves you into a different state, a different experience of your life. Because you're going to keep hurting either way. You think you're bypassing it, but you ain't. It hurts either way. And in my opinion, it hurts more to stay unconscious than it does to consciously start going, all right, well, I got a 3-year-old nervous system and I got to grow it up and it's going to hurt, but I'm hurting anyway. And the other hurt is going to get me somewhere. The other hurt's going to mean I get to be friends with my body instead of fighting against it. This kind of hurt, the nervous system training hurt, it is a hurt that comes to an end. It eventually stops hurting. Life doesn't stop hurting. Life still happens. You're still going to get disrupted. But you immediately know what to do about it, and you catch it at the teeny, weeny early stages. So it's a little 2 seconds of like, oh, you're okay. Take a few deep breaths, go on with your day. It's not that life stops hurting. It never, ever does. If you're expecting a pain-free, Fruit Loop kind of life, forget it. It's not going to happen. Life is inherently painful. But when we trust ourselves to know the skills and use them, we don't have to be afraid anymore because we know, we've learned through walking through the fire that we can handle anything because we become unfuckwithable. Unfuckwithable. I hate that name. I didn't like. Well, I'm getting used to it. I didn't like that name, but that's the name for that course that everyone grabbed onto, and I was like, all right, I need to pay attention to this. And then I was like, no, it does capture it. It does capture a place of being able to tolerate distress, being able to process pain, being able to hold steady when you want to take off running for the hills or you want to punch some bitch in the face. Feeling the energy signatures and being with them as they roll right on through. That is the ultimate power. That is the ultimate place where you can receive powerful energies. You can give out your powerful energy, and you can let other people's powerful energies come through you. There is no shielding. There is no curses. There is no nothing. There is energies and the sensations of energies. And the continuum is how many of those energies is your nervous system familiar with, and what is your capacity for sensing them, feeling them, whether they came from you or somebody else or an ancestor or whatever. You still have to build the capacity to be present with them, and then nothing is scary because you have trust. You trust yourself. You know that you'll say no when you need to, and you know that you can handle the other person, their anger, their disappointment, their guilt tripping. You can handle it. So it's easy to say no because you're like, well, here comes a shitstorm. Let me do my breathing. I can handle this. Bring it on. A lot of times when you're in that state, when you're like, I'm going to have to say no to this and they're not going to like it and I'm going to get some blowback, and you're like, ready? They don't. They're like, oh, okay. Or they just disappear, drop it, whatever. All right. Oh my God, I've talked for almost an hour. I'm so sorry. I know that's pretty long for a podcast episode, but you know what? Fuck it. Trust is the key to opening up to receive the thing that you've been chasing and you just can't seem to make a difference with. Nothing's shifting it. You can feel it in your gut that you're not actually deep down ready or willing to receive it. But your mind has you, you're just pushing yourself. So you're going to stop all that nonsense. Stop chasing that. Stop running after that carrot. Sit down. Listen. Breathe. Yank on your ears. Hum a little song. Shake a tail feather around the kitchen. Practice. Let people trigger you. You want to practice being triggered? Go out on Facebook for 5 damn minutes. Somebody's going to piss you off. Somebody's going to hurt your feelings. You're going to want to be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. Somebody's going to get you riled up. So, and then you can go, oh, here it is. Let me sit down and practice my new skills. Okay? Know that it's hard. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I know it. Whether you do it by yourself or you go, there's a million people out there teaching nervous system stuff. If you don't want to work with me or my prices are out of range, there's plenty of free stuff out there, and there's other teachers out there. If you want some referrals, I can probably find some people that I think would be good for you to work with that are, more doable budget wise or whatever. If you want to work with me, thatmichellewolf.com. Unfuckwithable. Always mess that up. Unfuckwithable warriors and holistic magic, which is a 6-month deeper dive program. They're both open for enrollment. We start in September. A few more days for early bird pricing is available for holistic magic. I'm going to take payment plans this time around, but I've gotten burned a few times on payment plans. So I will be reconsidering if I do those in the future. But this time around, it's already out there, so there are payment plans available. I love you so much. Don't worry about it. If this has been hard and you feel like there's no hope, there is. We're going to get through this. We're going to be able to open those walls, dissolve those walls, and receive a little bit more of that powerful energy. We can do this. All right. I'll talk to you next time. In the meantime, think less, feel more. Go feel into the website and see if I'm the teacher for you. And if not, that's okay. Go find some books or some YouTubes or some other teachers. But do this for yourself. The world needs you. You deserve to have the best life you can possibly have. And this is the best way I know of for you to get there. All right. Love you so much.